that's the first place I would put it. And I'm an excellent steward. I work real hard for you folks. I would also bring in another $1 million by reversing the tax increase that we had during the millage rate this year. We'll do that right away. And then reevaluate how we pick contractors, for example, lawnmower contractors. We pick up another $1 million there, so now we're up to $3 million. We could come up with much more. I've heard some excellent. I've seen some. Bob Gray's really reached out to the community to get some numbers, and has done a great job. And Bob and Lenny really have taken my hat off to them for trying to reduce the millage to keep our tax increase from happening, but it didn't work. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That's the end of round 2. We're going to start a third round of questioning. And Ms. Hansen is going to get the first question. Many of the recent zoning cases call for senior housing. Do you feel that is an appropriate direction for Johns Creek?
Thank you. It's difficult to say whether or not senior housing or millennial housing or middle-aged housing of people with schools who want to be here for schools is appropriate. The market will drive what's appropriate for Johns Creek. However, there was an excellent report produced by the Community Development Department on what the strain of senior housing is on emergency response. And that is important for all of us. It is most important for the seniors who they're often responding to. So controlled growth of that market, I think, is very important. I think the locations have to be carefully considered. Currently, the comprehensive land use plan encourages clustering of senior housing in a specific area for many good reasons. It's probably time to revisit that. There were some new definitions put into the comprehensive land use plan recently, which I think were a good idea. I think the council probably could have taken staff advice and put in a moratorium to reconsider.
Thank you. Ms. Andres, you're next. How do you see yourself fitting in with the current city council members if you're elected? How will you balance principles and still collaborate successfully?
So I see myself fitting in very well. In working in business, you're putting teams together, people with different technical experiences, different communication styles, different personalities. And in order to be successful, you have to be able to work with other people to arrive at a conclusion. So I think working with them is fine. My principles are my principles. They're what I stand by. The only one who can hold myself accountable is me. And as a leader, and on the council, you're the leader, the person that needs to be held accountable for the decisions that you make is you. And so the buck stops with me. So I would have to be accountable for my decisions and hold to my principles.
Thank you. Mr. Lynn. What do you think is the biggest issue facing Johns Creek? How would you address or solve it? Describe your prior experiences that you feel have prepared you for resolving this issue.
The biggest issue is the traffic. However, there's no short answer for the solution. What I will immediately do is to consult the traffic engineer. I think the best thing during my business experience in the past, my ability to listen and my ability to observe and then come up with a solution, I think I'll be able to bring value to the city to address this one of the major issues that majority of our citizens have their concern is the traffic issue.
Ms. Dowd. How can the city grow the business tax base if it does not address the traffic congestion? which is making it difficult for current businesses to attract and service customers?
Sure. I had 3 months ago sort of coined a term called transportonomics, where economics such as businesses and transportation went hand in hand. And the city council recently suspended the plan on the district because they heard the community. The community said we need to fix the infrastructure first before bringing in this big district development. They were asking for a small city center. So again, fixing the traffic, which seems to be the most concern, traffic, will attract more businesses. Imagine if we have a business, a small business, and their employees are getting caught in traffic for 2 hours or an hour, which is loss in profits and revenue for them. So if we can fix the traffic, we can get the city moving in a positive direction for the small businesses as well as the large businesses to flourish in Johns Creek. Thank you.
Mr. Israel? What experience have you had with the city that qualifies you for making decisions on behalf of citizens?
I was very much involved when the city was founded. I worked for the establishment of the city of Johns Creek. I've lived here for 20 years. I've been very much interested in the growth and development of the city. I've been trying to put forth my opinion about how the city should grow. I ran for election last year. I lost. I helped Mr. Bob Gray in the runoff, and I'm still very interested. I have a lot of experience, and I'm one who has no need for a day job to earn a living, and I'm free to work for the city. Thank you.
Mr. Carbonell is going to be next, so you can give him the mic. Thank you. Very simple question. What is your position on increasing or decreasing the property tax millage rate?
That's not a simple question. I have mixed feelings on whether it goes up or down because as everybody has agreed, we want more parks. I want more parks, but then again, that costs money. And that money has to come from somewhere. So it's basically, choose your demon. Do you want lower taxes? Do you want a lower millage rate? Do you want more spending on parks? Do you want more spending on infrastructure? There's no easy answer for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Burkhalter? Do you have previous experiences working with Mayor Bodka in the public or private sector?
No. No. It's still no. No. If you want me to elaborate on that, it's not really. I know Mayor Bodker. I know he's a diligent worker for our city, and I'd love to join the council and partner with him so that I can answer yes to that in the future, I guess.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Radford? What are the most important values that you see our community, our community places the most emphasis upon?
I believe the most important values that our community places emphasis on is the strong community, the family-oriented, safe environment to raise children, with the finest schools in the state, with the finest safety from the police department and the fire department. This is why I moved here. This is why I believe most everybody else moved here, or would like to believe that, confident of that. And to protect and preserve our family-oriented values is what I intend to do as a city councilman. And I care deeply about this city, and I truly am here to serve the people, not myself. not any special interest. My special interest is the folks of Johns Creek.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Coughlin? The more you tax something, the less you get. Should we reduce our business taxes to equal those of our neighboring communities, which we are competing with in a competitive economic environment?
As I said earlier, we tax on gross receipts, so that's your company's top line. So if you want to grow your business, especially your startups, your small businesses who generally operate at net losses, you're going to have to remove the gross receipts tax and convert it to a net income tax. Now you got to remember though, on those occupational taxes, we only get about 4% of our revenue there. So we could even provide a moratorium on business taxes for 5 years and utilize potentially $10 million of surplus to foster business growth by removing business taxes. So if that couldn't pass, I would support a net income tax, which would actually attract more businesses and increase business revenue. So that's what I'd do.
Great, thank you, sir. And Mr. Broadbent. What is your position on increasing or decreasing the property tax millage rate?
I certainly would not support the increase in the millage rate. The property tax revenue we have right now based on the current millage rate is back to the 2008 levels. At the same time, our population has grown by 13% or 10,000 people. So the demand on services has increased with the increase in population, yet we're still holding the millage rate the same. I think through some of the initiatives we're taking at the current time, I mentioned earlier, the review of all the various processes and procedures. We're rebidding the major contracts this next year. I think there might be an opportunity in the next year to reduce the millage rate at that time based on our success and the timing of rebidding these contracts. But certainly would never support increasing the millage rate, and I'd be looking for every opportunity to reduce it.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Ms. Dalwood, this is your question. How can the city grow the business tax base if it does not address the traffic congestion, which is making it difficult for current businesses to attract and service customers?
Sure. Is that the same question I just received?
Oh, all right. Sorry.
I can repeat the same answer.
We are recycling questions here, and okay. Sorry about that. Many of the recent zoning cases call for senior housing. Do you feel this is an appropriate direction for Johns Creek?
So we already have around 10 plus assisted living centers. We have a Park Place Center which is very active for seniors. There are people that I've talked to and I've knocked on doors, and the seniors that I've talked to are looking more to entertaining places so that they don't move out of the city. They want to retire here. They want something for them to be here, a base where they can go, eat, play, and walk. They don't want to go to the nearby cities. So if there is an interest in the seniors asking for such growth for the senior centers, I would definitely support it because we do need our seniors to be retiring in Johns Creek. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Lynn, what are the most important values that you see that our community places the most emphasis upon?
Well, being 81% of residential, I think what our citizens value the most is the sense of community. After dinner, that parents can take their kids walking on the sidewalk from their house to the park. I think the sense of community is what our citizens value the most.
Thank you. Carlos, this is for you. Would you support an ordinance on the number of campaign signs that can be deployed in a given mile of roadway? For example, each candidate would be allowed X number of signs per mile.
Absolutely. And not only would I would even put a cap on campaign contributions if I were allowed. But then again, I know that's never going to happen. But many of us that are here signed an affidavit saying that we would keep it under $2,500 that we have. And quite frankly, so many signs, and I'm sorry, Jay, but man.
Even on green ones?
Even the green ones. You say that you have to engage and you have to spread the message, but the only message that you're spreading is your name. And I know that expose you will get you there, and that is true. But we have to find new ways, like, for example, the use of technology to get our message out there, to get our platform out there, not only through signs. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Let's see, I think I've hit all four in the middle.